Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Let's check the time. It's 4 o'clock. This is Monday. Alex, what's up? Erica, hi. Hey, Karen. Aw. It's so nice to see you guys. I decided to go live today. Sometimes I pre-record. I hope the animals behave themselves. Everybody but Guinevere is in their places. Hey, Jessica, Nancy. Hi, guys and gals. Patricia. Yeah, we'll just wait a few minutes or a few moments really, and let everybody get settled in. Grab your props, grab your water, grab your animals. I'm actually gonna grab my bowl. I do enjoy playing my bowl for you guys at the beginning and the end of class, so let me be right back. Yeah, so if you're ready to rock and roll, go ahead. Hi, Christy. Hey, Baby Jack is with you. Miss Julia. Howdy. Yeah, if you're ready to rock and roll, go ahead and find a position where you're comfortable, just to start to get grounded. Maybe you lay on your back in Shavasana. It may be nice to sit in a lotus pose or a simple seated pose. You may be comfortable in child's pose to start your practice. So decide what you want to do, and go ahead and take a few minutes to start to focus on your breath. It may be nice to bring your hands somewhere that you can start to feel your breath viscerally. So maybe you bring a hand to the belly or one to the heart. Maybe you rest your fingertips on your ribs. And whatever your day has looked like, it may have been very relaxing. Maybe you worked or you feel a little restless. Let all of it dissolve, no matter what it is. Just let it really soften into the present moment. And as you inhale and exhale, try to notice that little pause between the inhale ending and the exhale starting. And then that little pause that happens when you're finished exhaling, before you bring in more breath. Notice that space, that little gap. Continue to focus on your breath. I'm going to encourage you to set the pace for your practice right now. So however you are going to breathe, that calm, rhythmic, smooth breath, start to bring that in now and commit to that breath throughout your whole practice. For the next 2 breaths, let's make them more exaggerated. So when you think you're done with your inhale, can you breathe in a little bit more? And when you think you're done with the exhale, can you squeeze a little bit more of that air out? And then do that one more time. Good, and wherever you are, start to bring some movement. So maybe you bring your knees into your chest, or you start to lift up out of child's pose. We're all gonna come into a simple seat at the frontage of your mat with the legs actually stacked. So don't cross the legs, but maybe bring the right heel in and the left heel just right outside of the right. Bring your hands behind you and start to lift your chest. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, walk the hands forward and simply fold. Let the head drape. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk the hands over to the right. So stay low. Maybe bring your chest over the knee. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, drape down. Inhale, halfway lift, walk the hands to the opposite side. Inhale, exhale, just drape over the leg. Inhale, back to center. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, soften. Your next inhale, halfway lift, walk the hands under the shoulders, come into a straight spine, and then switch the cross of the legs. We'll just do that on the second side. So spider up the fingers behind you. See if you can get a deep lift of the spine, gentle arch of the back. Breathe in. Exhale, bring the length with you as you forward fold. Walk the fingertips forward, let the head drape down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk the hands over to the left this time first. Exhale, drape over the knee. Notice that side body is nice and long. Halfway lift. So you want to stay really long, lead with the heart. Notice the space between the hip and the armpit. Long. Exhale, fold. Soften down into it. So even if your head's just dangling, let it be very relaxed. Halfway lift. Let's walk back to center. Take one more soft fold. And then lift the head, walk the hands under the shoulders. Let's guide the knees into the midline and start to just tick-tock the knees left to right, windshield wiper the legs. And then send the legs up. So you can stay supported with your hands behind you. You can keep the knees bent, you can straighten the legs. If you're feeling really fancy, you can reach the fingertips forward. And now come back down. Maybe if you're used to bringing your fingertips back, bring your fingertips forward. And then again, tick-tock, left to right, just getting a little bit of lubrication and synovial fluid into the joints of the hips. And then as you come to center, either stay supported, but let's activate the core. So pick up the legs any amount. Maybe you pick up one leg or the other or both. Knees bent, knees straight, doesn't matter. Just activate that fire of the belly, the Agni. Good, pick up anything that you can, just one more breath. Exhale, reach back down. Let's just gently swivel the knees left to right. All right, last one, we're just passing through. Pick up the legs any amount, cross at the ankles, and we're just gonna roll over the legs to all fours position. And take some cat-cows. So arch the back, open the throat. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin. And eventually, I would love for you guys to bring any organic movements into these cat-cows. So you may make circles in one direction. You may take some rib rotations where you imagine your ribs could circle around like a barrel. Maybe you close your eyes and you get connected with your breath. Let's check in. Who's here? Miss Jessica, Linz, Julie, Keith and Adrian. Hi, amigos and amigas. Nene, come on, let's go onto your bed. All right, from here, let's shift into downward facing dog. So if you remember my little downward facing dog tutorial, I guided you into bringing your middle fingers to touch at the midline of your mat, and then point the fingers forward. Make number 11s with your middle finger. Walk the hands out about one hand print. Curl the toes, press up, downward facing dog. Let's pulse the chest through the arms. Let's inhale the right leg up, just any amount, just get a little length. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lift the left leg any amount. Exhale, lower back down. So one more on each side. Inhale the right leg up. Find your personal edge. Left leg lifts. Lower down. And now walk the feet forward to the front edge of your mat. Let's take halfway lift, look into the horizon. Exhale, fold. Now grab either the back of your calves, your ankles, or you may grab opposite elbows behind your knees. If none of that works, grab opposite elbows in front of your knees. Okay, but what you want is this tight squeeze. You want your belly and your thighs touching. You want this connection. And give it a good squeeze. So wherever you're at, use your arms to tug a little bit. Your knees can be deeply bent. Breathe into your back body. Take a giant breath in and a giant breath out. Give yourself a hug since you probably can't hug anybody else. And then relax your arms and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Once you get to the top, continue the shoulder rolls down the back. Take several. Rolling forward. And then bring your hands, cup your shoulders, and start to rotate open. Again, don't lose connection with that breath that you committed to. Bring it back in if you can, let it slip. Rolling the shoulders now forward. So circling the elbows. Maybe they're huge. They touch at the midline and they come back around. Nice range of motion. All right, shake it out. If you're not at the front of the mat, go ahead and make your way up there. Let's circle the arms overhead Exhale, pass through the midline as you fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step the right foot back, low lunge. Drop the pelvis, pull the chest through the arms. Let the eyes go up. Step the right or the other foot back, plank pose. Downward dog. Plank pose. Lower all the way down with control. Open the chest by squeezing the elbows together behind you. Let's pass through child's pose. Good, and now look at your hands. Remember that alignment. Downward facing dog. Take a cleansing breath in and a cleansing breath out. Make your way to the front of the mat, however you get there. Halfway lift to create space for breath. Exhale, fold into that space you've created. Let's roll it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're taking 3 shoulder rolls back. And 3 shoulder rolls forward. All right, circle the arms overhead. Pass through the midline, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold into that space. Left leg goes back this time. So once you get into your lunge, dip the hips, pull the chest through the arms. Look up, open the throat. All right, step the front foot to meet the back. Downward dog. Shift forward, plank pose. Look at your shoulder. Is it right over the wrist? Downward dog. All right, one more time. Shift forward, plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way down with control. Like you're setting down a really precious item. Open the chest any amount. Child's pose, set the hips back. Again, look at the hands, shoulder width apart, downward facing dog. Take a cleansing breath in. We're gonna exhale what no longer serves us. All right, walk the hands towards your feet. So now you're in a forward fold. Interlace the fingers behind you. So if that doesn't work, you can just catch your hips. Take a halfway lift, activate the core. You already activated it in the beginning, right, with a boat pose. See if you can engage again. And then exhale, let the arms just sort of drape overhead. If you are catching your hips, squeeze your elbows together behind you. Release the hands down. Take your halfway lift. And so now you've got this little runway. Let's walk out into plank pose. I'll go this way. Hold your plank for 1 breath in. Press the mat away from you like crazy. We're gonna only drop the right knee. Spin the back heel flat. Modified side plank pose. So from here, you can either drape the top arm overhead. You could try lifting the back leg, just seeing if you can balance. Maybe you catch the foot behind you. Bring it in close. Re-extend. And then come back down. Keep the back leg extended. Bend the knee behind you. Let's pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze and then bring the knee to the nose. Round the back. And come into your plank pose. Both legs are nice and long. Take a breath in. A breath out. You can do it. Drop this time the left knee.
Take the back leg, spin it around flat. Try to work with this alignment where your wrist, knee, ankle, and ankle are in a straight line. If it's really tricky for you here, send the bottom foot behind you for a kickstand. But see if you can start balancing with that different type of alignment. Maybe you pick up the back leg, maybe the top arm goes overhead. Try not to dump into the bottom shoulder, really press the mat down to lift up. And then if you want, you can explore with catching the foot, maybe exploring bringing the heel in rather than kicking out into the hand. Maybe you stretch out your quad a little bit. And then let's re-extend the same way we went in. We're going to come out. Keep the right foot extended behind you. Let's bend the knee. We're going to pulse 5. Really press up like you mean it. 3, like you could put your footprint on the ceiling. 2, 1, squeeze. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, re-extend. And plank pose. Downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Let's bend the knee and open the hip, just passing through here. And then send your knee towards your nose, round forward, core plank. Set the foot between the hands. And you can either drop the back knee or just come right up into your crescent lunge. So for crescent, hands onto the hips. Squeeze the elbows behind you. This causes a little bit of a lift in the heart, right? So your pelvis, tailbone is tucked, heart is lifted. You've got this spiral opening. Let's pulse the front knee down. 3, 2, 1. Extend the arms just for a breath in. Exhale, frame the front foot with both hands. We're going to walk to the wide edge of your mat. So come into your wide leg forward fold. Just 2 breaths here. Do anything that feels awesome. I like to interlace my fingers behind my neck. We're just passing through, lengthening the spine. So with gravity and the weight of your head, you're literally like getting traction in your spine. From here, we're gonna walk to the back edge of the mat. Now your left leg is in front for your crescent lunge. So get deep into your low lunge. Then when you feel really anchored and stable, pick up the upper body. Again, you can bring the back knee down. Hands onto the hips. Use your thumbs as a little bit of a guide, right? So if somebody was supporting you from the back, press down onto your sacrum, send your elbows together behind you, lift the heart. Again, so you imagine this little like opening of all the chakras light up from the root, boom, 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 all the way up. Inhale, release the arms. Exhale, coming back down, frame the front foot with both hands. And then we're gonna come again to the wide, long edge of your mat. And the knees alternating, so bending one knee and then the other. Going as deep as your body feels like it can, right? So how to go deeper is to set the hips down deeper. Or you can keep the hips way up here. Maybe you explore what it's like not to use your hands, to stay nice and low, using just your little stabilizer muscles. Once you go back to the front edge of your mat, let's come into your low lunge. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Maybe you pedal the feet out, maybe you shake out the head. Pulse the chest through the arms a couple times. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Bend the knee, open the hip. Shift forward, core plank. So don't miss the core plank before you set the foot down at the front edge of your mat. Step the back foot forward and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's roll up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Follow through with the arms. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Big step open. Now you're in a nice wide leg straddle or wide leg stance. Let's bring the hands to the hips and let's take both feet and point them to the right. So working into triangle pose. Send the left hip back, and then bend at the waist. Keep your hands on your hips. Just use your core to come into like a modified triangle pose. Good, let's come back up to standing. Again, send the left hip back, crown of the head forward, lean forward, modified triangle pose. Notice what happens in the abdomen. Can you zip up the energy from your pubic bone all the way up to your throat? All right, come back to standing. Switch the feet. So both feet point to the left. Kick your hip out to the right. Reach the crown of the head forward. Come back up to standing. So what this allows is sometimes we come into triangle pose and we just like really lean into that front hand. So create a lift instead of a drop. So reach the crown of the head up. This hip is pointing out, rooting down through the pinky edge of the back foot. Lean, engage your belly core. Come right back up. Nice job. Side angle pose. Both feet point to the right again. Release your hands nice and wide like a T shape. Activate your triceps. 90 degree with the front leg. Warrior 2. So from Warrior 2, shifting forward. So notice it's the same position we just did. Anchor the forearm down onto the knee. Maybe the top arm comes overhead. Open back up to Warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. Rebend. Side angle pose. Reach like we did for triangle. And open up. Notice you've got these straight lines of energy. So if I took a marble and I rolled it down from your middle finger, it would roll right down the back end of your pinky toe edge of your foot. All right, spin the hands flat so that frame the front foot. Hop your back heel up. Anchor the left hand and twist. Right fingertips overhead. Take a breath in. As you exhale, both hands come inside the front foot. You're gonna weasel your front foot out to the outer edge of your mat for lizard lunge. So you can stay up, you can stay activated and maybe shift your back heel forward and back a little bit. If you want, you could drop the back knee and see if you can stay high up on your hands. So create a really nice opening in the chest. Crown of the head lifts. All right, lifting up the back leg. Let me meet you guys where you're at. And spin the back heel flat. Warrior 2. Straighten the front leg. And we're simply switching sides. So realign into your wide leg forward, or into your wide leg stance. Both feet over to the left. Warrior two. From warrior two, lean in, engage, zip up, lean in for side angle pose. Good. Coming back into your warrior two, straighten the front leg, exhale, lower down, reach like we did for triangle, top arm overhead. And notice you've got those straight lines of energy. You don't want this hip way up, and you don't want it sagging down either. Sometimes when you're really flexible, this hip will sag, and then you have this kind of swooping actions. So try to stay, if you've got that straight line of energy. All right, look down, frame the front foot with both hands. Hop the back heel up, anchor the right hand down. This time we twist open left. Let the gaze follow. Press down just as much as you're reaching up. And as you look down, both hands come inside the front foot. Let's go ahead and work the left foot out to the left edge of your mat. And you could stay nice and high on the back leg, maybe shifting forward and back. If you want to drop the back knee, I'm going to encourage you today to stay high up onto your arms and use that lift, right, to send your heart forward and your hips down. Alrighty, pick up the back leg, spin it flat behind you, warrior two. And come into your wide leg standing position. Weasel your feet, heel toe them back to the center of your mat. And if you want to shake it out, go ahead, shake it out a little bit. We will prepare for some balancing postures. So from the front edge of your mat, go ahead and take a little half step back with your right foot. Hands onto your hips. Squeeze your elbows back, lean into the back leg. Warrior three, but stay with your hands onto your hips. Try to keep your hips level. Maybe you're touching down with the back leg. Maybe it's lifted, heel in line with the hip. Now we're gonna come through, bring the knee in as you come standing. And then we're gonna go right back into your modified warrior three. Use your core, pull through the midline, bring the knee up. Lead with the heart, full extension of the back leg. All right, last one, come into standing and step it down. Left foot, little half step back. Squeeze the elbows behind you, really lean into the back leg. And then use a little momentum to fly forward. Warrior three. Push down to lift up, bring the knee in. Exhale, warrior three modified. See that your hips are square. That's why your hands are on your hips, so that you can keep them in that plane, that nice, even plane. Last one. Bring it through, bring the knee as high as it can go, and step it back down. Good. Maybe you shake out the legs. And we're gonna try for dancer's pose today. So for dancers, go ahead and bend the right knee, catch the foot from the inside. Okay, and now don't let this knee just sort of fly out. You really wanna seal it like if you had one leg. Left arm overhead, and kick and reach. You want to kick and reach in equal directions. Maybe you come back to the midline, try again. Kick and reach, so more of a lift than anything else. And lift and reach, and come back. All right, so a lot of you have heard me say, if you come to class, if you grab your foot from the outside, when you come forward, this shoulder is going to nosedive, okay? So if you can catch your foot from the inside, it creates an opening in the chest that keeps this open rather than closed in like this. Okay, so catch the foot from the inside, right fingertips overhead, and then go for it. Kick and reach. Back to center. Try a couple more times. Sometimes when you fall out of dancer, that's the only way you know where your edge is. And you start to learn, it's like a baby learns how to walk by falling like a million times. And that's how it knows that that's the edge. Gently unwind, shake it out. Okay, we got a couple more new people. Welcome, friends. Welcome, welcome. All right, last standing pose. Well, maybe not. Last balance pose for this series. We're gonna come into chair pose. So bring your hands together in front of your heart and sit down in your itty bitty little chair. We're preparing for eagle pose. So for eagle pose, you can either simply bring the ankle over the knee. Let's do the right side first. Okay, if you're able, cross the knees, stacking them. Let's open the arms nice and wide. You may stay here. This is great. So if the right leg is over, the right arm's gonna go under and either bear hug or imagine your arms were like ropes and you could tie them in a twisty tie. Bring your elbows up, your hips down. Elbows up, hips down. Last breath in, sink the hips down and release. Reach up, chair pose. Sit nice and low into your chair. Decide which variation you might want to try here. Maybe you simply cross the ankle over the knee. Plenty going on right there. If you want, you can stack the knee one over the other. Open the arms, so you've got your left leg over, your left arm under, like ropes. Imagine you could just twisty tie your arms. If not, we're here. Lift the elbows, sink the hips. Lift the elbows, one more inch down maybe. Last breath. And untie. Reach up, arch the back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's all meet in downward facing dog. So if you take a vinyasa to get there, or if you just meet in down dog, let's all take a breath in. Take a breath out. Let's the next one be exaggerated. So you guys are home. There's probably not a lot of people there. Let's exaggerate the breath in. I want you guys to make a sound on the exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. I wish I could see you right now. Alrighty, coming down onto your knees. From your knees, high kneeling position. Let's send out the right foot so that the toes are in line with the knee for gate pose. So gently rest the right fingertips on the right leg. The left arm's gonna come up and over. And breathe. try not to slump forward. Try to stack your shoulders one over the other. Inhale back to center. Exhale, second set. This time we're going to come forward. So just bring the arms down in front of the legs. Back to all fours position. Let's take one cow and one cat. You pick the order. High kneeling position. This time the left leg comes out, and take a look. See that you have got that straight line of energy. Left fingertips feather light, right arm overhead. So if your neck is comfortable here, you can look up, or you can look straight forward, or you can look down, but pick something and really commit to that. Inhale, back to center. Let's do one more second set. So just feather light, walk the fingertips down the leg as you create a lot of space. The right lung gets so much breath here. Notice how much space you have for that deeper breath. Use it. This time we come forward, anchoring the hands down, shoulder width apart, table pose. Take one cow and one cat, you pick the order. And we'll come into downward facing dog. On an inhale breath, the right leg's gonna come up. Bend the knee, open the hip. So a couple breaths here. If you want to keep going, you can drop the left forearm down. So you're in a half scorpion pose. Let's re-extend arm, re-extend leg. Bring the knee to nose, shift forward, core plank, and then step it down for pigeon pose. Take a few moments to get really comfy. Check out your foundation, your alignment. I like to kind of rock my hips left to right just to take a little inventory of what might be going on today. So with your fingers, spider them up. Make your arms go straight. So lift the crown of the head up. Good. And keep that length with you. Maybe you just bend your elbows until you find that there is enough sensation. When you find there's enough sensation, just pause. Just pause. Maybe you start exploring. Like imagine a figure 8 in your hips. So there's some classes where we really want to be very stationary, especially in pigeon. Don't fidget, don't fuss, just boom, right? But in flow class, I'm going to encourage you to really gently bring micro movements into this posture and start to dig around a little bit and see if there are some areas that you tend to avoid. And we all do that, right? We don't even know we do it, and we do it. So if you find that the sensation has lessened a little bit and you need more, boom, come forward a little bit more. And just explore breath and micro movements. Intentional exploration of the body. Take 2 more breaths wherever you're at. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders. Use your arms to press up. We're going to take the back foot, bring it around and into your seated spinal twist. So the left leg is in front, the right leg is underneath. You can extend the foot if that is more comfortable for you. Make sure you're plugged into your sit bones. Lengthen the spine and look over the left shoulder as you twist. Belly, ribs, shoulders, neck, head, and finally the eyes. So breathe deeply into the resistance you've got here in the lower belly. So your belly is kind of smushed up against your leg, and that's the whole point of a twist, is to create compression and then breathe into that little bit of tension so that you can get the benefits of the lymphatic movement in the body and the movement in the intestines, what is known to be like a detoxification of your internal organs, right? That happens with the breath. So gaze forward to unwind. Bring the hands behind you. We're going to pass through boat pose, just passing through. One breath. Cross the ankles, roll over the legs, downward facing dog. You can either take a vinyasa or just pedal out your feet, whatever movements that you would like to sort of recalibrate. We're all going to be in down dog. So from here, the left leg comes up any amount. It's appropriate in this pose to stack the hips. Maybe you bend the knee. Try to keep the shoulders squared, but the hips stacked. And if you want to add on, drop this time to your right forearm. Straight leg, straight arm, three-legged dog. Shift forward, knee to nose. Shift, shift, shift. And then set the hips down for pigeon pose. So again, taking a minute. Locking in the foundation. Look back. Is your ankle in line with your hip? This front ankle can be tucked way in, or it can start to come out a little bit as your hips start to open. So coming onto the fingertops, lengthen the spine. Imagine you had a stack of books on your head and you were balancing the book. So your chin is nice and tucked, your nose points forward. Press your arms to get the length. And then start to bring that length with you as you notice the sensation gets to like, solid, maybe 65-70%. And you start to imagine figure eights with your hips. And don't be shy to find little nooks and crannies, little sections, little tiny sections where you may notice, ooh, what's there? What's going on there? And you start to kind of realize that you may be avoiding certain areas of the hips inadvertently, right? So once you find that you have less sensation, once it softens and dissolves, maybe you come a little bit deeper into the pose. And again, continue to explore. If you really feel like you need stillness, of course, take stillness. But that's one of the things I love so much about flow class is like you could really get into these organic movements. And that itself is quite therapeutic. So a couple more breaths. When you're ready, walking the hands under the shoulders, use your arms to press up. Again, regain that position, like maybe like if you had a stack of books on your head. And bring the back leg around. Right over left this time. Make sure you're plugged into your sit bones. Again, decide whether you want to extend the bottom leg or keep it bent nice and tucked in. So for your twist, make sure you're not doing this. Can you straighten your spine? You almost feel like you're overdoing it, okay? That's what I've learned. Sometimes you feel like your spine is straight and you're still a little slunched over because just life. So exaggerate the straight spine and then twist right. So bring that with you. Belly, ribs, sternum and shoulders, neck, head, and eyes. Use your eyes too because we lose the range of motion in the orbit of the eye because of rear view mirrors in the cars and staring at computers for hours at a time. So I love using the yoga practice to really make up for that standard American lifestyle. Again, remembering the deeper you breathe, the more benefits you're going to have here. Come back to center, gaze forward. Let's just pass through boat. We're just passing through your variation. Maybe you let your arms fly. Maybe they come up overhead for extra. If you feel like being extra today. All right, we're coming down for a count of 5, 4, you're halfway, 2, hovering, and release. Fingertips overhead, toes point forward, arch the back. Take a breath into your ribs, belly. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Maybe roll side to side a little bit. All right, for bridge pose, we're gonna seal the soles of the feet down. Your knees are bent. Let's cross the right ankle over the left. So we're gonna take, if you wanna take traditional bridge, just go for that. Otherwise, we're gonna bring our right ankle over the left knee. Hands down at your sides, palms face down. Try not to turn your head. Keep your nose pointed up and peel your spine up off the earth. So you're pressing into the left foot like crazy. The right leg is activated. Arch your foot, toes towards your knee. Good. Press down more for 1 breath in. Exhale, lower down nice and gentle. And switch sides. Seal the right sole of the foot down. Left ankle crosses over the knee. Inhale, breath. Let your hips ride up. Breathe in as you press down, lift up. Activate your right toes, your left toes. Exhale, come all the way down. All right, last set of bridge pose. This time, both of the soles of the feet stay down. We're gonna reach the arms overhead, bring them over your head, and lift the hips up. Can you relax your glutes? Lift all 10 toes, press more into your heels. Relax your glute, squeeze the knees in, press into your heels. Last one, relax the glutes, press into your heels, and coil down one vertebrae at a time. Bring your arms down, palms next to your hips. And then just simply drop the knees left to right. Okay, for our inversion, those of you that want to take Sleeping Tiger and you know where to go, go for it. I'm going to also, I'm going to teach you dolphin to headstand-ish. Okay, so feel free to stay here and just tune me out. We're going to take, quite a couple minutes here in our inversion. You may want to put a towel or a block underneath your hips to just elevate your hips a little bit more. If you want to do shoulder stand and plow pose, go for that. Those of you that want to join me in a dolphin pose, which is another form of an inversion headstand practice, you're going to come onto your knees, grab opposite elbows. So you're going to catch opposite elbows, set them down on the mat. Leave your elbows there and interlace your fingers. So you want your elbows this far away from each other. Interlace your fingers, and then you're going to curl your toes behind you and send your hips up. Walk the toes in until your hips are a little bit higher over your heels. Press like crazy into the earth, and maybe you lift up one leg. And then maybe you lift up the other. And then you come down. Level 2. We're going to do the same thing, except you're going to do that with the crown of your head on the floor. Imagine again like you had a stack of books on your head, except you're turning it upside down. Catch opposite elbows, put them down onto the mat, keep them there, but interlace your fingers. Create a little basket. Put the crown of the head down, curl the toes, and walk them in. Maybe you lift one leg up, and then start to kick a little bit into headstand, and then switch left leg up, and then kick a little bit, maybe lifting up, good. Child's pose. Those of you in Sleeping Tiger, bring the knees into the chest. Okay, we're all going to meet onto our backs with the knees into the chest. Drop the knees to the right, spinal twist, upper body to left. Come back to center, square the shoulders, square the hips. Drop the knees to the left, upper body right. Coming back to center. If you want, you can pass through happy baby pose. Maybe just rocking a little bit side to side to release the sacrum. And then once you're ready, you can shift into your Shavasana. And I'm going to encourage you to take up a lot of space. Bring your feet nice and wide. Bring your wrists in line with the shoulders. And in Shavasana, remembering there's nothing left to do. There's nothing left to fix. There's nothing left to change. Simply receiving the benefits of your practice. You release so much, you're not even controlling the breath anymore. So allow the breath to escape you and to take its own rhythm. Try to simply have the observer's perspective, as if you're observing yourself in Shavasana. Trusting that your body knows what to do. Trusting that there is healing happening. And I'll guide you back in just a moment, but until then, give yourself this true gift of relaxation, of stillness, of emptiness. Please feel free to stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. Stay here and enjoy the meditation. If you are ready to come up, you can find your way, however you get there, into a simple seated pose. I encourage you to stack your hands over your heart or bring your palms together in front of your heart. Maybe you take a moment to think of a few things that you're grateful for. Reconnect with your breath.
reconnect with that subtle energy that you feel throughout your whole body. You may feel a little bit of a vibration or tingling sensations. You may feel warmth or even some heaviness in the body. That's your aliveness. That's your chi, your prana, your life force, your essence. So breathe into the space under your heart, under your palms. And from this place, I wish for you to be happy, healthy. May you be safe and protected. May you be loved and loving and always at peace. And may all sentient beings everywhere be happy and free. Namaste, peacocks. Thank you for joining me in this practice, for me and Guinevere. And I will see you next week.